Hello. This is a reproduction of Pokemon Silver for the Game Boy, which I got off of AliExpress. And as reproductions go, first of all, I guess I'm glad that they actually wrote Nintendo on the top instead of game, like they do sometimes. But here's the thing. You can see that the plastic isn't cut perfectly and there's big chunks missing. If you buy one of these reproduction cartridges, it does not keep track of the time the way Pokemon games do. All of the time-based events just go by the wayside. And that's the price you pay. I mean, this was like less than $5. Reproductions on the Game Boy are bar none the cheapest reproductions you can buy right now. They've even eclipsed Sega Genesis games. I think it's like $6 for a Sega Repro, as long as you don't need a battery. So I wanted to open this up and take a look at it, because if there's no battery in it, what's in it? So this is a try bit that I got to open Game Boy games for a couple of dollars, and everybody should have one of these if you play Game Boy games, because one day your authentic Pokemon games are going to need their batteries replaced, and you're going to need this to do it. All right. Give me a second here. There we go. So here we've opened it up. If we pull this out, you can see, let's get this a little closer. We can see a couple of things. This appears to be like a universal board. If you look, forget the chip there. There is a space on the board for an integrated circuit to be soldered in that isn't being used, and this has been sort of dropped on top of it. It's funny that we have an epoxy blob on a reproduction card. It's like, what are you trying to hide? It's a reproduction card. Are you trying to hide trade secrets? Is that it? But what sticks out the most is this big battery slot. There's a big battery slot that is empty. And I did some searching online, and yes, you can buy a replacement battery. They're not expensive. It's like $10 for a pack of 8 or something like that. But I found somebody who had the same issue, and they did that. They bought a battery and they soldered it in, and it actually did function. It kept track of time for a little while. About a week later, the entire cartridge shut down and it just simply refused to boot. So because that happened to this guy and he shared his story, I decided not to solder one in. I mean, I notice when I look at this thing now, if any of you out there are better with circuit boards than I am, one of these is going to be positive and one of them is going to be negative. I couldn't tell which one is the ground. And I studied the board a little bit. I tried to learn this stuff when I was working with synthesizers, because there's a lot of soldering involved with that. But unless one of them says plus and one of them says minus, I'm really in the dark. And I was kind of scared I was going to solder the battery in backwards. So there you go. Let me put this back together real quick. Come on. There we go. So there it is. I will never play through Game Boy Silver or Pokemon Silver using this cartridge, but I also can't bring myself to throw it away. So I don't know. I'll hold on to it. Maybe it'll end up in the retro junk box, something like that. But here it is. If I ever get my hands on an authentic one, maybe I'll use it as a slave trader to get a hold of all the starting Pokemon. I don't know. But there it is. There's a spot for the battery, and it's just not there. Pretty hilarious.